All right, green bean coffee. You can order these green beans off of Amazon, and they're pretty reasonable. But what we're going to do, we're going to show you an experiment. Actually, it's not an experiment. I've done this several times, but I'm going to show you one of my techniques on cooking the green bean coffee and what all's involved. And we're going to try and keep it simple, short, and to the point, and I'll explain a few things. But this is what we're shooting for right here, is a medium roast coffee when it's finished, and it is delicious. So a breakdown of what you're going to need is, obviously you're going to have to order you some green beans. You'll need your 1 cup measuring cup, wood spoon, hair dryer, and I'll explain that in detail a little bit later. Cast iron skillet is what we'll use today. I'm also going to show you an option for cooking them out over your open grill and the tool that's used for that. Pizza pan for cooling, because we'll spread them out on the pizza pan. And of course you're going to need a food processor for grinding the beans after they're cooked and having them to where you can put them up. But the idea is we're going to put them in the skillet at about medium heat, and when we get through cooking them, after keeping them agitated and stirred, then we're going to put them on our pizza pan, and we're going to go outside and we'll use our hair dryer on cool and low fan mode, and we're going to blow the beans while we work them with our hands to get the husk off from them. Then we'll bring them back inside and put them in our food processor, and that'll be it. They'll be ready then for percolating. Alright, stand by while we get ready for stuff. Alright, after about 5 or 8 minutes, like I say, we've got the heat on about medium, and our pan's heating up pretty good, and we've got us a cup of green beans. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and put them inside of our skillet right now, and we'll let them continue to heat, but we're going to work them around. We're going to spread them out to where they're nice and flat across the bottom, and we're going to let them heat for a little bit until we start hearing a little bit of a crackle, or we'll start seeing a little bit of smoke come off of them. So we're going to turn our fan on low so it'll be a good exhaust note. But basically what we're going to be doing is I'm going to keep working these things around so that they don't stay in one place and certain ones get darker than the others. And I'll keep working them a little bit as we go, but the more heat they get, then obviously the more vigorous I'm going to work them. So we're going to be looking for hearing a pop sign from them, and a lot of people, they'll tell you about the first pop and the second pop, but basically the pop just tells me that they're heating up enough to start cooking, and I'm going to want to keep working them so that I can keep them to where they don't get too certain ones get browner than the others. And then by the time the second pop or sizzle that you hear, they are probably getting done, but I really don't pay a whole lot of attention to that. I just look at the color of the beans to get the consistency that we're looking for. So I'm going to let it heat a little bit, and then we'll get back and I'll show you what it looks like after it starts getting closer to being a product. Alright, we're getting the smell and aroma from the cooked beans now, and you can see that they're getting a little bit brown, and I'm starting to hear a little bit of a pop. Maybe you can hear it through this video, but now we are going to start turning them, and as you can see, we're developing a little bit of smoke, and we're getting the brown color that we're looking for. There you go. You hear that other popping? And that's called the first pop. It just tells us that the oil's leaching out from them and that they are starting to cook. So from this point, you're probably going to want to keep them moving a little bit and not sitting real still. But we'll go ahead and let them roast a little bit more. I expect this whole process takes 9 to 15 minutes total, depending on your heat. You can see now you're getting a little bit of smoke from the beans. And I'm going to just keep them moving around a little bit till I start getting closer to the color that I want. Then I'll come back on and show you again what we've done. And the time lapse, I wish I'd have put a timer on it, but we've not been doing this but about 5 minutes so far, so I suspect another 10 minutes and we ought to be getting pretty good to the consistency that we're looking for. And I love the smell of this stuff right now, and it really smells good once you grind them up and get them ready to put them in your container. But you can see they're almost looking like parched peanuts. So we're going to keep them moving. Then I'll get back with you in a minute. Alright, we're experiencing the second pop now, and it's been probably 5 minutes since I cut it off to take care of them. I figure about another 3 minutes or so of cooking these things, and they should be getting the consistency that we're looking for. We know they're getting ready because the oil from them, you can see the smoke now. They're smoking pretty good, so they're cooking. But like I say, I'm going to go ahead and get them a little darker than what they are, a little more consistent than what they are. And again, from this point here, I'm looking at for at least another 3 minutes. And I'm assuming that skillet is a good, and I probably should have got a temperature gauge out, but it's a good 300, 325, and I still got it on a little above medium on the heat, because the cast iron skillet does a good job of holding its heat and being real consistent throughout the whole deal. Now what I will do, and I have done in the past with this, and what I like is I like to take them and separate them out to the edges of the skillet, and that way it's not staying directly in the center of the heat of the skillet, but I'm depending on the edges now to kind of get those bottoms, and then when I stir them again, then I'll spread them back out into the edges one more time. And again, we've got about 2 minutes left here. It's probably going to need to cook a little bit more than that, but not much more. They're about the consistency that we're looking at, but I'll get with you. I'm going to spread them back to the edges again so that the heat's not directly on any ones there. It's getting the heat from the edges of the skillet before I stir them again. But you can hear a nice pop and crackling. They are cooking good. Alright, that's a nice consistency right there, and it's been approximately another 3 minutes since our last screenshot. You can see a nice little bit of oil coming from the beans, and they're cooking pretty good. This will be a breakfast blend. I like mine just a little stronger than that, but I'll go ahead and cut the heat off on the skillet so it's off, and I will stir them for just a little bit more. But you don't want to cook them a whole bunch now, because you got to realize they're still cooking while you cool them to keep them from overcooking. So I think right here is going to be a pretty good consistency, and what we're going to do is we're going to put them out on our pizza tray. Alright, we're ready now for cooling them. I got the hairdryer set on low. And you see while I'm blowing it, it's blowing the husk off of them. But you want to do that before you put them inside your food processor. So it's doing a nice job with getting the husk all blown off from there. It won't hurt anything. A little bit of organics to go around your flowers. For about 2 or 3 minutes with my hands and the hair dryer, you can see that 95% of the husk is gone. They're ready now. We'll take them inside and put them in something to get them ready to put them in the food processor, and that'll be a done deal. All right, that's it. Green bean coffee cooked. They look pretty decent. And what we'll do is we'll put them in our Ninja food processor. And I'll just use my hand, dip them out, put them in here, and then I'll show you about how we're going to process them lightly and get a full 8 ounces of fresh ground coffee. Okay, we've transferred them to the food processor container, and we're gonna hold on and let me lock this down. Alright, when it's locked down, that turns the food processor on, and all we're gonna use is the pulse mode, and we're just gonna touch it. You can see down on the bottom it's doing a good job of pureeing right now. But we're not gonna turn it on and leave it running. We're gonna pulse it a little at a time so we don't turn it into a powder versus good ground. And then what I'll do is I'll take it off from here one time and I'll shake it around and get the beans back to the top, and we'll do it one more time and we'll look at it. Alright, I've taken it off and I've shook them around in there, and we'll try it again and see if we still hear the beans. I think this is a pretty good consistency that we're looking for right now, but I will check it one time before we put them in our bag. Yeah, I am satisfied with that consistency. You can see as you shake it around, there's a little bit of clumps in there, but that's strictly because of a little bit of the oil from the beans and all of that. As you put them in your plastic bag or however you're going to store the coffee for the week, all of that, as you work the coffee around, it'll all break up fine again. But you can see that done a really good consistency of coffee right there. Boy, you want to smell something that is really good, stick your nose down in there and get a whiff of that. It is absolutely wonderful. Now what we'll do is we'll take our plastic bag and we'll put it over the mouth opening of our food processor. Hold on just a minute, it's hard to work with one hand. Alright, so we basically put that over the top of our food processor, and all we got to do then is turn it upside down and shake it down into our bag. And as you can see, that turned out really nice. A really nice color and a really nice consistency for drip coffee. And I will leave the Ninja just like it is, because that's going to be my whiskey barrel as I keep cooking other coffee during the day and putting it in there. And then when I know it's going to be stored for a week or longer, I'll go ahead and wash it out. But I want all that flavor and consistency to be the same. Alright, I hope you enjoyed it. And the next time we'll show you about a tool that I have for putting the coffee beans in. And we'll cook it over an open flame. And I'll show you how to do that. And then you just shake the utensil that I got, like a strainer with a cap on both ends, and keep it moving over the fire, kind of like you're doing popcorn. And I am going to get an air popper and try it one time. I seen another guy's video where they used an air popper, and it looked like it worked good. But really and truly, to me, you can't beat the skillet. You just got to make sure you've got hooded vent or something to get rid of the smoke, because it does smoke up a pretty good bit. And outside you would be not having to be confined to breathing the smoke like that. Alright, thanks a lot. Like, share, and subscribe.